And more available towing, torque, and power. Magnum Power. Dakota, it's time to put away the toys. See the friendly Northwest Dodge dealer near you.
Joan London, Corbin Bernsen, and country star Dina Carter on Howie.
On World News Tonight this Wednesday, major fallout from yesterday's elections. Democrats happy, some Republicans happy, others beaten up and playing the blame game. And call him the governor, not the body. And our series on service. You can hire a professional to kvetch for you. We'll explain.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
Good evening. There are some serious political hangovers today, some from celebrating last night's election results. They're mostly Democrats. Others from banging heads against the wall or each other, and they're almost all Republicans. Both Republicans and Democrats can say they held pretty even in the governor's races, though Republicans lost the plum, which is California. There was no change in the Senate, which was not good for Republicans, who thought they would gain at least one seat and maybe more. And the big story is in the House of Representatives. For the first time in more than 60 years, the party which controls the White House has won, not lost, House seats in a midterm election. The reverberations from that are being felt everywhere today. And first, here's ABC's John Cochran.
White House aides say that privately the president was ecstatic over the results. Publicly, he would say only that voters chose practical issues over partisanship.
If you look at all the results, they're clear and unambiguous. The American people want their business, their concerns, their children, their families, their future addressed here.
Newt Gingrich had predicted Republicans would win up to 40 seats.
Look, I'm the speaker, so I'll take responsibility. We should probably have aggressively pushed cutting taxes and saving Social Security much harder than we did this year.
Republicans gave grudging credit to Democrats for getting out a huge black vote in key races, and to labor unions for burning up shoe leather all over the country, canvassing for Democrats.
This year, the question is, should we reward Bill Clinton?
Republicans admit their last-minute ad campaign reminding voters of the Lewinsky scandal was not the brightest idea they ever had.
And I think we didn't understand that people would just frankly get fed up with the existence of the topic.
Some Republicans paid dearly for singing the praises of independent counsel Ken Starr.
Twinkle, twinkle, Kenneth Starr, now we see how brave you are.
That gave Democrats the chance to hit the congressman with a negative ad.
Twinkle, twinkle, Kenneth Starr, now
partisan investigations instead of real work. Congressman Michael Pappas, out of tune, out of touch.
Last night, Pappas lost. Today, Republicans realize that many of their successful candidates are pragmatic governors concerned with getting results. Congressional Republicans say they've learned their lesson, that the first thing the new Congress will focus on is something that people care about, tax cuts. John Cochran, ABC News, Washington.
Well, the new Congress is going to convene in January, of course, and the impeachment process is going to be right there in front of it. Several Republican leaders said last night publicly that it was their constitutional duty to proceed. A lot of voters told the exit pollsters this is not the way to go. Here's ABC's Lynn Scherr.
What voters across the country had to say was simply enough. Forget about impeachment, Ms. or Mr. Lawmaker, and get back to work. Just look at the evidence. When we asked what they thought Congress should do about the impeachment hearings, 39% said go ahead, but 58% said drop the matter. That reflects disappointment with congressional activity. 62% of the voters we surveyed disapproved of the way Congress is handling the investigation. Contrast that with the way folks rate the president. Mr. Clinton's performance on the job got a 55% approval rating. But Mr. Clinton and members of Congress should not think that they are free to behave badly. Mr. Clinton's personal approval rating was a dismal 35%. And while the Lewinsky affair itself ranked dead last as an issue important to voters, tied for first, along with education, was something voters do care about: moral and ethical standards. Lynn Scherr, ABC News, New York.
Thank you, Lynn. Sam Donaldson is with us again here in New York tonight, and Cokie Roberts joins us from Washington. Sam, you first, if you don't mind. A little on last night's results and Bill Clinton's authority in the new Congress? And do the Democrats think it gives him the clout to back Republicans off on impeachment?
Yes, and the White House very pleased, Peter. They think the president may be out of the woods here. Their line that you hear from the president today and others is, well, it's up to the Congress, it's up to the Republicans to figure out the meaning of the election returns. We can't tell them what to do. We'll cooperate. But you get the mood and the sense that the White House believes now the president is going to be free in one way or the other. As far as his authority to get things done, though, that's another question. He'll come out, as he has today, and as he will in his State of the Union message in January, saying we have to have new school construction, we have to raise the minimum wage, we have to cure Social Security. But it's not at all clear that he'll have any ability to do that, although he's trying for a page in history which has the first word something other than Monica Lewinsky.
Sam, thanks. Now let's go to Cokie in Washington. Cokie, what do the Republicans think about this? Do they worry that he has the authority to back him off on impeachment?
Sure they do. And they say that there's no end game here. They had a conference call today of the Republicans on the Judiciary Committee figuring out who they will have as witnesses. Kenneth Starr is said to be among them. But the words they're using is faster rather than slower, fewer witnesses rather than more, and get this over with as easily as possible. But the truth is they don't know how to do that. They're now deep into this. They don't know how to get out of it, and they're looking for people to blame, and the people they're looking at are their leaders.
So, Cokie, in as few words as possible, are we looking at a power struggle in the Republican leadership?
Oh, no kidding. A lot of disgruntlement, a lot of talk about it. Whether it actually comes to fruition or not is another question, because there's no obvious leader, and the old saying, you can't beat someone with no one, is still true.
Thank you both. Cokie Roberts in Washington, Sam here in New York. When we come back, we'll look at the races for governor. Why is George Bush of Texas so successful, and how big a player might he turn out to be nationally? And the stunner in Minnesota, Jesse Ventura, and reform politics.
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Brought to you by AXA and the Equitable.
I can help you plan ahead and make sure you have money for things like your kids' education.
That's fantastic. But I was thinking about starting my own business.
As a matter of fact, that's part of the plan, too. Now, here's the best part. Guaranteed income for you and Meg to retire in style.
AXA, dynamic vision, Equitable, a trusted resource. Call us. Equitable is a member of the global AXA group.
Raisin Bran, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on? That Raisin Bran has less than half your folic acid for the day. Even less of your zinc.
That's a weenie breakfast, Frank.
There's almost no vitamin E at all. Looks like you need Total Raisin Bran. Just one bowl gives you 100% of 10 important vitamins and minerals you need for the day. No other Raisin Bran comes close.
Attaboy, Frank.
And there's room for my spoon.
Total Raisin Bran, Total Cornflakes. What are you getting for breakfast?
Before you do this or this or this, you want to have this and this and this.
You'd be surprised how much of our technology goes into your day.
So for this or this or this.
We're Siemens.
We can do that.
George W. Bush had such an impressive victory to keep his job as governor of Texas last night that before the night was out, some Republicans were practically anointing him as their presidential candidate 2 years from now. ABC's Dean Reynolds reports from Texas.
The Honorable and Mrs. George W. Bush.
These are the best of times for the governor of Texas, a man at the top of his game.
I am humbled and honored by your overwhelming vote of confidence.
His resounding re-election has thrust him into the national spotlight as never before. The 52-year-old governor has parlayed a winning personality, a booming Texas economy, and a philosophy he calls compassionate conservatism into a formidable electoral force.
I'm from New Jersey. I'll vote for you in 2000.
Thank you, ma'am.
And Bush has a network of well-heeled contributors who've helped to bankroll a media campaign
in some of the country's toughest juvenile justice laws.
As slick as most races for the White House. His appeal to Democrats, especially Hispanics, is a big political plus.
En Jorge Bush depende de los hispanos para ganar.
And while there's abortion and favors the death penalty and school prayer, he doesn't sound strident.
I don't think he's the favorite of the evangelical right within the Republican Party, but initially he appears to be at least acceptable, and that's absolutely critical.
And being from a famous family doesn't hurt.
She helps a lot.
Clearly loves campaigning, but he has said repeatedly that he is reluctant to put his family through what he calls the Washington political meat grinder. And that has led to speculation that George W. Bush lacks the requisite fire in the belly to make a race for the White House. Then there are the questions about the governor's admittedly irresponsible behavior as a young adult.
And it all started because somebody discovered I quit drinking. And somebody said, well, why did you quit drinking? I said, because I was drinking too much.
This being the 90s, Bush has had to assure people that he's been faithful to his wife, Laura.
If there was something in my closet that would disqualify me for a run, you'd know about it.
He says he will concentrate on being governor for the next few months before deciding what to do about 2000. Whatever the decision, there's no question a lot of people will be waiting to hear what it is. Dean Reynolds, ABC News, Laredo, Texas.
One of the races we watched very closely last night was for governor in Minnesota. A lot of people find it amusing that Jesse the Body Ventura, former Navy SEAL, former professional wrestler, had thrown a monkey wrench into traditional politics. But there was something serious going on, and today the quintessential outsider is Governor-elect Ventura. ABC's Jim Williams reports in Minnesota.
The election of Jesse Ventura has either thrilled the people of Minnesota,
kind of amazed. I voted for him myself, but I didn't actually think he'd get in,
or left them embarrassed.
I went to bed shocked. I woke up more shocked.
But everyone here is surprised. Look out. Few took him seriously when he announced he would run for governor on the Reform Party ticket.
I only answer to the people of Minnesota.
The state has a long tradition of serious politics and earnest politicians like his opponents, the Republican mayor of St. Paul and the Democratic state attorney general with the most famous last name in Minnesota, Humphrey. They went after each other and virtually ignored Ventura.
You have a spending promise for everyone.
No.
For everyone.
There you go again.
But Ventura proved he was no joke. His simple message, smaller government and lower taxes.
When you say the word investment to me, somebody's reaching into my wallet in the private sector.
He impressed younger voters who turned out in record numbers to support him. Now comes the hard part for Ventura, actually governing. Though he once served as a suburban mayor, he has no experience working with a large legislative body. Today, Ventura met with the outgoing governor, admitting he has a lot to learn before he takes office.
I feel a little bit like Rodney Dangerfield. It's time to go back to school.
But unlike Rodney Dangerfield, Jesse Ventura is suddenly getting a little respect. Jim Williams, ABC News, St. Paul, Minnesota.
We'll go on to the other news in just a moment. Tropical Storm Mitch is now heading for the United States. It's the storm that will not quit.
You see a business deal. At Sprint, we see data. Data that lays the groundwork, that allows people to collaborate. It's the sharing of information that helps build business. And with Sprint Ion, our integrated on-demand network, we'll soon be linked together with even greater ease, flexibility, and power. Because business runs on data, and data runs on Sprint.
It hurts so bad. That burning sensation. So I saw my doctor. He said where heartburn hurts most is where Mylanta works fast. All down through here where you want help fast. My doctor said Mylanta.
I didn't need a wimpy laptop. I needed a desktop that travels. They said, do you like movies? And I said, you talking to me?
Introducing Yourware, technology that grows with you. When you call 1-800-GATEWAY, we can custom build you a portable desktop with an Intel Pentium 2 processor and a DVD drive for movies, all for just $87 a month. And in 2 years, you can trade it in toward the purchase of a new one.
I love this part. Me too.
Call us, and let's talk about Yourware from Gateway.
Whoa, remember this place and those midnight snacks?
Indeed. Let's have 2 dogs with the works.
Hey, I can't have one of those now. Watching your figure? No, I didn't take my Pepsid AC, and it's too late now. Didn't take your Pepsid? Take my Tagamet. You can eat now.
Tagamet introduces a better way to avoid heartburn. Not an hour before, like Pepsid says. Now. Now you can take Tagamet right when you're going to eat and still prevent heartburn.
Mindy?
You two. Back again?
Mindy! With Tagamet, you can eat like a kid again.
Why do I rent from Enterprise? Very simple. No stress.
We'll be happy to
They arranged to pick me up free, so I don't have to ask anyone for a ride. See? No stress. Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
Federal authorities indicted their main suspects today for the bombings of the U.S. embassies in Africa, though Osama bin Laden and the man said to be his military commander, Mohammed Atif, are very much at large. Today, the State Department posted a $5 million reward for information that would lead to their arrest. In the Gulf of Mexico tonight, Tropical Storm Mitch is gearing up again, and it looks now like the southern half of Florida will be in the way. In Central America, as we've seen, Mitch has been devastating. The death toll is still around 9,000. More than 1 million people are homeless, and helping them is an exercise in frustration. ABC's Ron Claiborne reports again from Honduras.
They began burying people today in mass graves as a precaution against disease. But the main concern now is with the living. The Honduran government is trying to get food, drinking water, and medicine to the hundreds of thousands of people who are still largely cut off from the outside world.
There's a lot of towns, small villages that haven't eaten in 2-3 days.
As fast as supplies can be gathered, the Honduran Air Force flies them out. But in this, the poorest country in Latin America, there is simply not enough.
In some villages, the people are said to be so desperate that when helicopters arrive bringing aid, they rush the aircraft as they tried to land. Fearing for their safety, the pilots departed without delivering any supplies. In the capital, Tegucigalpa, some people are getting fed at shelters for the homeless and hungry. But there are still hundreds of villages accessible only by helicopter, and many of those villages haven't even been reached yet. Ron Claiborne, ABC News, Tegucigalpa, Honduras.
On the money tonight, food and food prices. There has been a tremendous toll on the economies of Nicaragua and especially Honduras, thanks to Hurricane Mitch. And the giant produce companies Dole and Chiquita say that damage to the banana crop will cost them about $100 million. The Agriculture Department has agreed to give Russia $500 million in grain and meat to get through the winter, and that will also help American farmers unload some of their bumper crop. And the sales of cars and trucks were unusually high last month. Sales were up at General Motors and Ford. Chrysler, Toyota, and Honda had their best October ever. ABC's Betsy Stark tonight on why cars are selling so well.
Even at an average cost of $20,000, millions of Americans apparently feel financially secure enough to buy a new car.
What we've seen in October is a great indication that they feel pretty good about the U.S. economy.
It is true that car buyers are taking advantage of low financing rates, generous incentive programs, and some of the best prices in years. Several 1999 models, including the popular Ford Taurus, are actually selling for less than they did last year. But it takes more than a good deal to sell a big-ticket item like a car. It also takes a healthy job market. And for now, unemployment is low and Americans have money to spend. That's why even though Wall Street is forecasting an economic slowdown next year, car makers are sticking to an ambitious production schedule for 1999, clearly betting their money on the consumer. Betsy Stark, ABC News, New York.
On Wall Street today, the Dow Jones Industrials were up just under 77 points to close at 87.83. On the NASDAQ market, stocks rose more than 35 points. When we come back, service and profit, understanding the connection.
Johnson, I'd like to see some ideas on saving the company money. I'll be back first thing in the morning.
Think. Vincent, stop it! Drink. Help!
Well, Johnson, Staples. That'll save us a lot of money. You are a genius.
Staples has guaranteed low prices, like 15 pens for 88 cents. Staples. Yeah, we've got that.
Announcing an amazing discovery. Now One-A-Day has combined herbs with vitamins, like our cold season formula with echinacea, vitamin C, and zinc. There's one for memory, even cholesterol health. Discover what they can do for you.
Parenting is a constant learning process. What you have to do is prioritize.
Back in '88, Earl wanted to retire,
Spend more time with Tiger.
My dad taught me.
I met an American Express financial advisor. Dave is a personal friend of mine to this day. We trust each other because we got a track record.
It's about making smarter decisions.
We're a team, and that's when dreams can happen.
American Express Financial Advisors.
Do rich people have more friends than the rest of us? Are they more deserving of a comfortable seat? Are they more entitled to brake safely on a rainy day? Are we the only car company that doesn't think so? Century by Buick, full of amenities for under $20,000, loaded for under $24,000. Century by Buick, a luxury car for everyone.
Heading up the research team, I do 3 or 4 dives a day. Long hours, bag lunches, but I can't afford to get slowed down by irregularity. My doctor recommended Metamucil. It's not a chemically altered fiber, not an artificial stimulant. The only leading brand with 100% natural fiber is Metamucil. Keeps me regular, gently. So the only thing dragging is the anchor.
Metamucil, the doctor's natural choice for regularity.
Another closer look at service in America tonight. We began with the premise that service is not what it used to be, and we haven't found much argument about that. We have discovered that many companies are reassessing the relationship between service and profit. ABC's Judy Muller tonight on the difference.
How's this for service? If you own a Lexus in need of repair, the dealer will bring a loaner car to your door.
There's the keys for your car, okay?
Thank you. Take your car to the shop and, before returning it, throw in a free car wash. But then you'd expect that kind of treatment if you owned a luxury car. What about more mundane purchases, like groceries?
In the supermarket industry, expectations of customer service have been very low and, in fact, almost non-existent.
Safeway has embarked on a plan to exceed those low expectations.
Mrs. Beatty, have a wonderful day.
Employees are told to make eye contact with customers and to offer personal assistance.
Always helpful. If I ask for something, they take me there. They don't just say, oh, it's over on aisle 4.
Safeway's earnings are up, and marketing experts say that's no accident.
Good service leads to higher customer satisfaction, and higher customer satisfaction leads to people coming back and more future sales.
Recent research at Vanderbilt shows that for every dollar invested in customer service in hotel and banking industries, the return is $1.44. In retail, every dollar invested brings in $2.33. In other words, better service equals better profits. But better service is relative, based on customer expectations.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
At Southwest Airlines, for example, the expectation is for no frills.
That's what we're here for, is just to fly, not to be pampered.
That means no seating assignment and no food. But this non-service is delivered on time and in a most entertaining way. On this flight, for example, the voice of Ross Perot gives the safety briefing.
Place it over your nose and mouth, secure with the elastic strap, and unlike the President of the United States, you may then inhale.
But surpassing low expectations is not the only path to profit. Superior service is the calling card of Nordstrom department stores. Their merchandise is pricey, but they have a generous return policy, and each customer is treated like a VIP. Nordstrom declined our request for an interview, saying it has a policy against blowing its own horn. That may be more caution than modesty. There's a danger in hyping expectations.
People's expectations have been built up, and as soon as you cut back, then the difference between what they get and what they expected becomes negative, and they'll all of a sudden start looking for something else.
But few companies are likely to cut back on service once they see their profits go up. The trick, apparently, is in giving customers more than they bargained for.
And remember, United we stand, but Southwest we fly. Thank you very much.
Judy Muller, ABC News, Los Angeles.
When we come back, really frustrated? Get a professional complainer.
At Transamerica,
why?
We have specially priced life insurance policies for people who still exercise without a trainer. Call a Transamerica agent. The people in the pyramid working for you.
Give me an S! S! Give me a C!
Unlike ordinary pickles, Clausen just won't bend
Another C!
when it comes to taste. We make them cold and keep them cold. So enjoy the cold snap of Clausen.
Dandruff, psoriasis, scalp dermatitis. If you asked all the dermatologists listed here to recommend a therapeutic shampoo, Neutrogena T-Gel would come out #1. T-Gel works on all 3 itchy, flaky scalp conditions. Neutrogena T-Gel, it works.
From now on, embarrassing odor from bladder leakage won't stop me from going where I want to go.
Or doing what I want to do, and it shouldn't stop you.
Introducing A&D personal care products for bladder leakage in soothing dry lotion and cleansing towelettes. It's the first line of products made to capture and eliminate urine odor on contact and soothe irritated skin.
Ordinary lotions or wipes can't do that.
You'll feel fresh, clean, and odor-free all day.
New A&D personal care. A&D as in odor-free.
When you qualify for benefits with Transamerica Long-Term Care Insurance, you can make yourself at home. Because you can still live at home. The people in the pyramid working for you.
Tonight, they thought they'd found their missing son. Instead, he ripped their hearts out. Connie Chung nails the cruelest con man of all.
You didn't think you looked like him at all?
Absolutely not. This time I said, at least try.
Diane Sawyer, Sam Donaldson, 2020 tonight.
Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Dunn. News of the Northwest is coming up next. He's not headed to Salem, so what's next for Bill Sizemore? And volunteers build spirit by building a carousel from scratch. Channel 2 News is coming up next.
Find this evening that word kvetch, which we hope is close to the correct pronunciation. It is the Yiddish word for someone who's always complaining about something. So why not a professional kvetcher? In the age of absent service, it seems like a good idea. Here's ABC's Juju Chang.
All right, are you going to switch the call for me?
B.L. Ochman has spent 20 years needling, cajoling, and shaming businesses into treating their customers right. She's a kvetch, a complainer for hire.
You are a professional complainer. I am absolutely a professional. I am the best of the complainers.
For $100, Ochman will put your gripe into words and send it to the highest executive she can find.
You did a crummy job. Lousy, sloppy, bad work. No excuse. They are further entitled to compensatory damages to being treated incredibly rudely by your so-called customer service department.
Woke up one morning and everything was spoiled.
After her brand new refrigerator died, Dory Schwartz fought with the repairman for 10 days and got nowhere.
How were you treated? Like I was a moron. Like I was just going to have to wait and be one of the cattle.
But Dory refused to wait in silence. She enlisted a pro.
They have food that's going bad. They have, trauma going on, and they were treated rudely. And I had said that in the letter.
Her letter landed on the president's desk with a reminder that saddling a customer with a lemon is against the law.
And in 8 hours, she had gotten a new refrigerator and $100 for spoiled food. I couldn't believe it.
If you don't complain, how's anybody supposed to know what's on your mind?
So never underestimate the power of complaining. But if you can't do it right, make sure you find someone who can.
You sold her a lemon and she wants her money back now.
Juju Chang, ABC News, New York.
It's a very good business. That is a report on World News Tonight. Later on 2020, the unique relationship between black men and their mothers. On Nightline, the terrible effects of Hurricane Mitch. And I hope that some of you will join me on abcnews.com at 7:15 Eastern Time. You'll recognize me by all the typing mistakes. I'm Peter Jennings. Have a good evening. We'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
Tomorrow, the world's first bionic eye. The first step to creating a cure for blindness. Watch ABC's World News Tonight.
Let's talk about this.
She's kept her past a secret for more